Good good day everybody. I am here today with the NFT11 team and let me just introduce everybody first. So today I'm joined by Mr. Andrew Ling. He is the managing partner for Dimension Multifamily Office and AI Sport. I'm also joined by Garrett Chan here, the Chief Technical Officer of NFT11, and Chance Woon, or as you guys know him, the Gnome, is the
Hi.
Chief Marketing Officer of NFT11. So as you guys know, today is the AMA with everybody, and everybody I've collated everybody's questions, and today I hope we can answer some of the questions and inquiries of the community. So to start off, everybody, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? We can start with Mr. Ling.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for having me on. How's everybody today? It's Friday, my time. It's about 4 p.m. So very soon to be drinking time, end of the week. Uh, and I'm glad to be here. This is really my first time doing a AMA. Ask me anything, right? So Chance tells me this is AMA, so people shoot me questions and I've got to give the answers. So really, this is my first time doing. I'm more used to the Zoom and the Teams and the Google Meet platforms. This is something new to me, and it looks quite nice and interesting already. Good afternoon, everybody who is here on the session, as well as everybody else who is watching in. I understand there are quite a few of people, quite a few on the public that's watching in. I'm Andrew. As introduced by Solthos, I am the managing partner of Dimension as well as of AI Sport. Now that is the easy way of introducing myself. I am actually the board member. I'm tasked with overseeing Dimension. Dimension is the name of a multi-family office. We are a group of 4 Asian families based out in Asia. 3 are from Southeast Asia, 1 is from Northern Asia. And they come together to form a multi-family office. My job inside Dimension is to oversee all the investment portfolios, the mergers, and all the acquisitions that the family offices make globally. And as such, a simple title like managing partner would simply just mean I do everything, sadly. I oversee everything. Of course, I'm tasked. I'm blessed to have talented individuals to assist me in all the different portfolio companies. People like Garrett, who's on the call today, and of course, Chance, who today I know is called the Gnome. So the Gnome, it's extremely talented as well. So of course, with talented individuals like them helping me, and the teams below. AI Sport is one of our portfolio companies. We invested in AI Sport, I think roughly about a year ago.
Mhm.
About a year ago, just before just after some of our other prior investments into AI and machine learning. So I take an active role into all our investment companies.
Mhm.
So to give a very broad overview, I hope cut me off anytime, Mr. Sotos, if
Okay.
I'm talking nonsense and talking too long. Dimensions as a multi-family office has very traditional investments. We
Mhm.
do financial services. We have a bank. We also do insurance businesses, and also we do a lot of financial services business,
Okay.
payment gateways, etc.
So.
Also, we are also involved in the hospitality business,
Mhm.
which is where we have our brand of hotels. We own and we operate our own brand hotels.
Okay.
Uh, Zest is mainly in the Southeast Asia. We are in Cambodia, Bangkok, and I think Cambodia, Siem Reap, Bangkok, and Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh.
Wow.
We are developing an island in the Maldives
Wow.
prior
Okay.
to COVID. So that is roughly the more visible aspect of our asset hospitality and
Okay.
asset management business. So I'm
Okay.
involved in that as well. Um, and of course, the more sexy part of the business is our investment into
Okay.
technologically advanced investment portfolios, like the fintech companies that we have,
Okay.
of which AI Sport definitely is one of them, and also into the gaming sector, which we are very proud to say, NFT11 has come to what it is today.
All right, Mr. Ling, could you elaborate a little bit more about the partnership of AI Sport with NFT11? Because like a lot of people are actually curious, what does AI Sport do?
Oh, I'm not hearing you.
Mhm.
Sorry, Solthos. Could you repeat the question? I
Oh,
couldn't hear
sorry.
that.
Yeah,
No problem.
a lot of people are actually curious of how AI Sport is collaborating with NFT11 because like AI Sport has some great partnerships with the Southampton recently, the partnership with them. So how does that go together with your with NFT11?
Sure. Okay, there is no actual there's no actual cross sharing of
Hmm.
technology between AI
Okay.
Sport and NFT11. We we invested and own AI Sport outright about a year ago,
Hmm.
uh, with AI Sport being our first foray, first pure foray into a AI and machine learning industry. So we bought into Mr. Mike Lam's idea of creating the AI Sport technology, which today is very successful. We count quite a few institutions using our technology for their big data deep diving analysis.
I
And
see.
these are the gaming companies, etc. So AI Sport essentially is a technology company writing out programs and softwares in the form of a platform to provide deep big data, deep diving, data analytical services to clients who require such data in the sporting fields. So that was our first foray, and from there we decided to use AI Sport to incubate interesting ideas
Mhm.
in that area that's pretty new to us, which is, for example, GameFi,
And then
DeFi,
these
blockchain, etc.
NFTs. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly, and NFT11 was an extremely exciting idea, and we
Mhm.
decided to use AI Sport to be the to incubate. I
So
think moving forward, with the kind of traction NFT11 has, we will probably have to relook that structure with my team soon.
okay. So it's sort of like AI Sport is above here and NFT11 is like sort of like a sister company, so to speak, in a way.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm not looking at your video, so I'm not sure what actions you're
Sorry.
doing,
Yeah.
but
So
roughly what you know what you mean. Yeah.
okay, so how about the like I read the white paper and it's and it shows like the partners of NFT11, which is Finex Eastern Bank and Savage Digital Assets Management. So like these two companies, if you try to Google them, you don't really see much information. So could you elaborate a little bit about the partnerships with these two companies and like how are they helping NFT11 as well?
Sure. Well, I'm surprised that you cannot find them online. Okay, Finex Eastern Bank, and I'll
Mhm.
provide you their link. Is a digital offshore bank. It's actually a
Oh,
rather
okay.
private bank.
Mhm.
They do not engage into retail business.
Ah, I
What happens
see.
is that it serves institutions and a few selected families in their clientele
Mm,
to do digital cross-border transactional kind of businesses interfamilies. So it's not the kind of uh,
normal retail bank that
yeah,
we're
they're not the
used to seeing.
conventional retail bank that
Yeah.
that that is there, yeah. But
Okay.
nonetheless, they are visible because they are regulated, and in the banking
Hmm.
industry, you need to make sure stuff is up and proper. I think that their website should be www.finexeasternbank.com.
Okay.
Happy to put that in the chat. Can I type in the chat here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I
Sure.
can put that out there.
Or you can just send it to YC, I think, and then he'll put it on chat later. And
Sure.
I'll also put it in the description below when this gets uploaded to YouTube, so people have a reference for these banks.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the bank.
Mhm.
And the bank. the bank was a partner simply because in the esports field, especially with NFT11 coming into being a blockchain game. So when you talk about crypto and blockchain, I'm not an expert. No, the experts are on the other side of the screen here. But essentially, when you talk about banks and banking services for crypto and blockchain related businesses, and my part of the world or our part of the world in Asia, it tends to be a bit more sensitive.
Yeah.
In traditional finance, banks and crypto don't really get along very well together.
True.
So having a digital bank, a digital friendly bank that we know banks digital assets assists us a lot in firstly, of course, financial services. Secondly, it assists us a lot in terms of our getting access to financial services if necessary. I believe one of the families bank through these banks, so obviously there's a lot of connections there.
Well, it certainly adds legitimacy to the project if certain banks are backing it up, because not all NFT projects are backed by banks, because as you said, banks and crypto do not really have a good relationship to each other, especially at this current time, but it could change in the future. So
we hope it change.
Yeah, hopefully. So so how big actually is the NFT11 team? Because a lot of people are curious how many people will be working on this big project.
Well, maybe I'll put it this way. NFT11 was an idea, pure idea. I think it still is roughly an idea. So we were very excited about this idea when it was tabled to myself and the rest of the investment team. I think Chance put forth a very good point, and then so he obviously is leading up the public side of the project, and Chance of course leads. I should say the gnome. The gnome leads all communications, and of course the gnome also leads a team of people. I think how many guys do you have under you, Chance?
For me, I currently have three person working on the marketing front.
NFT11, just on NFT11 dedicated to just NFT11's marketing, and when we talk about marketing, it's still very broad based. It's top line, through the line, and bottom line marketing. So sorry. And of course we also have we also pool resources. We don't have dedicated resources currently, but we pool a lot of resources from our existing portfolio companies. For example, Garrett is the CTO, and his team of about Garrett, you gotta update me how many guys you have there.
But it's a good thing.
Currently, we have about
12 people currently just in this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't report me to my bosses. It's not that I don't know how many people there are. It's that they have very large teams, right? They're very large teams across. For example, Garrett has a front end, as a full stack team, just based out in Beijing, China. In Singapore, he has his PMs. In Philippines as well as in Vietnam, he has tech teams across the region. But if you're just talking about resources dedicated to NFT11, of course, I leave it to the heads of the departments to do that, and that's why Garrett's there. So he has about 11 people. That's what he said, right? 11 or 12 people on the team. Of course, myself, in terms of management, resources, funding, partnerships, I will take the lead, as with all the other investment companies under Dimension's charge.
Oh, that's great. Actually, at least like NFT11 is getting help or resources from so many other sister companies or related companies. So, I mean, that should be really good in terms of like needing resources or manpower. You can just get from left and right, and everybody helps everybody.
So at the start it's like that, but we are looking to hire though. That was my understanding. So I think there's an extensive list coming through HR asking for quite a few positions open.
All right, chat, leave your applications on their website for those who want to apply for NFT11.
Yes, we're always looking for talent.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so like so to start this to AMA, we just want to know like a little bit more about the security of the game, because as you know, NFT, it's prone to malicious hackers or certain types of scams. So has NFT11 security in the has it been audited or has it been like tested before?
Right. I'll take this question. For in terms of audits, right? Because currently, we are still in our IFO stage, right? So,
Yeah.
not much smart contracts has been now, not much transactions are expected at this current moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the audits that we are having, right, is actually the audits that we have for IFO swap, which is our launchpad.
I see.
And we focus because that is the real smart contract that is how to say, the bridge between NFT 11 and the public, right?
Yeah.
So we had to make sure that the launchpad itself was audited
Mm-hmm.
well, and thus and the IFO contract itself, is audited. There's no potential rug, malicious codes, etc., etc. And
Yeah.
then so there was two train of thought in terms of our audits. We were thinking of either going for a static audit. I mean, now I'm talking about IFO, so I'm not talking so much about NFT 11
Okay.
audits, because as I mentioned, NFT audits, not much smart contract is out yet.
Yeah. True.
Right. So let me just elaborate a bit about our IFO swap, our launchpad audit. So initially, when for the audit for IFO swap, there was two train of thoughts whether to go for a community audit or go for like a technical audit, which is like a static audit,
Mm-hmm.
right? So because IFO swap is a launchpad, all right, and then we expect that we will have a lot of transaction with the public community. Right, so it makes sense to go for community audit to make sure that the community that is taking part in the IFOs are the most protected. And thus, we went for a community. IFO swap went for a community audit
Mm-hmm.
under rug.io. I will pass the. I mean, all these audits, will be is all in IFO swaps Medium and their social channels.
Yeah.
So,
So
you
they
guys
can
want to
check
know.
it there as well.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of security, while I can promise you guys that our this IFO itself, this first IFO that we launched on IFO Swap is perfectly safe. It's been audited by rug.io and another sister company that they partner with called paladinsecurity.co. So these two have worked together to audit our IFO contract, and now we are listed on rug.io as one of the least risk IFO on the Binance Smart Chain at current moment.
Okay. So actually, was there any particular reason why you guys decided to go for an IFO release instead of something like, how most NFT projects today, they do like an NFT sale right away. So they sell their characters or they sell their avatars or artwork or something like that. So what was the logic behind going to an IFO thing, which is so to say not that sexy because people don't get to brag about their NFTs right away.
Right. Mr. Ling, do you mind if I take this question? I take this question. Okay. So for why we chose IFO swap, in fact, right, NFT 11 was an idea that wasn't born like the last month.
Mm-hmm.
NFT 11 was an idea that we had all the way back at the beginning of the year, right? And that was when IFO swap was also starting off. So why we are using IFO swap as our launchpad, because there's a mutual partnership between IFO swap, AI Sports, and the team.
Okay.
Right. So I mean, it's a mutual partnership between all of us. So IFO swap will be the one to help us support in terms of the blockchain and IFOs and fundraising on the blockchain. And then we were all quite new into this whole fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So IFO swap was the one that gave us this option of a new form of fundraising, which was very interesting for all of us, especially in the traditional finance part. So we decided to go for IFO swap because it was an interesting way of IFOing. It's not like we had a few options to choose from. We could think about selling NFT. We didn't have that kind of options. It's a very organic process that happened, a very organic partnership that happened between NFT 11,
Mm-hmm.
IFO swap, and AI Sports.
Okay.
So that's why we are using IFO swap as our
as your
launchpad
partner. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it makes sense because everything just flows together. Yeah. Okay, so
usually.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because I feel like most of these processes, these business processes,
Mm-hmm.
You can only plan them so far, but as time goes by, as more opportunities come by, and then things just gel together, it just happen. So it's hard for us to always say like, we can stick to a certain process and flow, we are like being like Bruce Lee, we are kind of be like water, whatever situation that we are put in, and then we are fluid to that aspect. All right, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I want to say, at least.
Okay. Thanks, Chan. So
Yeah.
Another thing. So we've talked about the IFO. We've talked about a little bit of background of NFT11's team. Let's dive deeper into the gameplay aspect and what your vision for NFT11 will actually be. So like I know you guys really want to do like a play to earn system similar to Axie Infinity or a bunch of these new play to earn projects. So how do you think NFT11 stands out from the current projects on the market?
Okay. As I had a previous AMA with Jeremy the Crypto Sapien, and then that video kind of covers a little bit about me talking about the game itself also. But I mean, I don't mind sharing a bit more on this Twitch live stream also.
Yeah.
In terms of the differentiating factor between us and other NFT games, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we can all admit that Axie Infinity is the grandfather, the godfather of GameFi, right?
Yeah.
And we know in the recent months it has been mass adopted, I would say.
True.
Right? But I would say they are mass adopted by the Philippines market, for the scholarship market. However, I feel like the GameFi industry itself is not being mass adopted.
Okay.
Right. I feel Axie Infinity is being mass adopted, but GameFi itself is not being mass adopted. Everybody is buying into the idea of Axie Infinity. It's a very new game, but they don't really see the potential of the GameFi industry. Right. So that's how that's our train of thought when we thought about the NFT games. Right. So when we came into this with this idea, we started looking at what are the potential competitors that we see out there. Right. Okay. And then first we look at, Axie Infinity. I wouldn't say Axie Infinity is a competitor. No. Axie Infinity to us is like the case study.
Different genre as well, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a different genre, but we see that there are very successful models inside Axie Infinity, such as scholarships, such as breeding, that keeps the economy going and healthy. Right. So these are elements that we will borrow. But while we were researching into what are the possible NFT games, we saw there were some that were original. For example, like Z-Run. Z-Run was really original.
Okay.
It's not like an Axie clone. That was a form of another NFT game. And then we saw the things that was quite unfortunate actually was that there were a lot of Axie clones. Right? Maybe they outright clone the entire system, and then maybe they nitpick on a certain issue inside and then that becomes their USP. So
true.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot. It's the same thing as the NFT collectible market. Like the Bored Ape Yacht Club. The Pudgy Penguins. We initially when it first started off, the creativity was there. Everybody respected the art of Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? True. And then then the price started to go up, and then when we reached a plateau, we saw that there were starting to have a lot of clones coming out. They use crazy koalas. Penguins I would say was the last of it, and then it started to go to a decline now. And then now, if you look at OpenSea, you can see that these projects they used to be oversold within like 30 minutes, right? 10,000 oversold in 30 minutes, but now you can see that it's starting to dwindle. That is what clones kind of does to the market. It numbs people.
It sort of saturates the market of too much of the same thing. Yeah,
exactly. So that's why I feel like the mass adoption for GameFi is still not there yet, because everybody still see Axie Infinity as the GameFi itself, but they don't understand that there are other ways to incorporate GameFi, and that's where NFT came to life. We wanted to borrow elements from a successful model, but we still respected the art of creating a game. Things have to be original. Okay, you can borrow the formula, but then you still have to make it logical.
It has to be at least different in a lot of ways.
Let's say, let's say for example, we talk about Axie Infinity breeding, right?
Yeah.
So one thing is Axie itself, they don't have genders, right?
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know how they breed, but then that's the Axie universe. I'm not going to talk too much about that. But then if we were to bring it to NFT11's logic, we know that the breeding mechanic for Axie Infinity is one of the driving factor of the economy, right?
True, yeah, because it's a player-run economy. Because
yes,
of that.
Exactly. right? So we have to incorporate. We know that we have to incorporate the breeding mechanics into NFT 11, but how? How do we do that logically, right? I mean, then there were people that came to me and say, hey, you can have two players, doing something, and then you have a baby player coming out, and then I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. You can't have two male. It's progressive thought, as Jeremy mentioned. It's progressive that you have two football players having a family of little babies, football players. But then that's not what we are going for. We're trying to go for a more original and more authentic feel to the game, right?
Okay.
So some people were also just suggesting, how about introducing female soccer
players.
I mean, yes, you have a female soccer league. I understand that, but this is not a talk about feminism or not, but you just want to keep it as authentic as possible, right?
Yeah.
So now we have to think of a breeding system, and then now we think about how to make it logical. So in the real world, how do new stars get
Come
born?
out, yeah.
Right. They train, and then they are trained by coaches, and then when they play on the field, and then it's their time to shine, right?
Yeah.
And then they slowly become good. So
Good
they
players.
breed by training players, right?
I
And then
see.
that's how we kind of melded the breeding mechanic with the real life example of training players. So now instead of having two players needing to breed with each other, now we have a player and we have a stadium. So that when you stick your player into the stadium, they become coaches, and these coaches will then train new players. And then from there itself, the dynamic, it becomes more dynamic. We can say like, if your coach itself is a legend player, right? And then he has a very high stats on the power or his accuracy, for example.
Yeah.
It only makes sense that the players that he train out will
also have good stats.
Exactly. I mean, you can't possibly be saying like, if you have Cristiano Ronaldo training a new player and then this player grows up to be a goalkeeper. I mean, then what in the world does that mean, right? So
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel that's how the mechanics of NFT 11 started to grow and start to be different. And I think that's mainly why the community is so receptive towards NFT 11, because they don't see it as just another clone. It's just not another Axie Infinity. It's not one Monster Infinity or Binamon. It's a game that everybody loves. Soccer and football. This is international language, right? And crypto is international language. We merge them together, and then we have a perfect formula of a game, right?
True.
So that's
like
so
some people in chat were saying like two really good players, if you let them work together and then they train a new player. Is that sort of the system, or is it just one coach?
Two experienced player to train a weaker one. I don't see how. I don't want to add that kind of a training mechanism where you can use more players to. Okay, what we want to achieve, right? Is we want people to participate in more matches, put their players in more games, right? I don't want people to be just
experience, so to speak, in matches.
Yeah, and that makes sense. As you play more games, and you get more experiences, and your win rate goes up. Your stats goes up.
Okay, so I want to talk more about the gameplay, right? Because I think there's something like tournaments in the game. So can you elaborate a little bit more about these tournaments?
All right. Okay. About these tournaments, right? This kind of touches on the play to earn aspect of NFT 11, right? In a white paper, I realized that there are some people that read our white paper, and it seems like they feel in a white paper we said that to participate in tournaments, you have to pay a fee to enter the tournament. This fee will be split towards the prize pool of the tournament as well as stadium owners. Yes. Right, so stadium owners, they are the ones that host matches, host tournaments. All right, so just to digress a little bit into the stadiums, right? As for now, we only have one stadium because we believe that we don't expect a big user base. We just want to cater to the current user base. So one stadium to host one main tournament. Okay, but in the future, as more users and more players come in, we will have multiple stadiums, and multiple stadiums will host different size of tournaments. Right, and then each tournament, their cash price will be way higher. If you're in a UEFA League, if you're in a World Cup, it makes sense that your payout will be way higher.
Higher stakes in higher level tournaments. Yeah.
Exactly. And then to participate in these tournaments, you got to pay a fee, And obviously, the MMR of your club will affect whether you will be able to be eligible for this league or not. right? So that's in the future in terms of the stadium. So let me go back down to the tournaments, right? So now there were a few issues, concerns from the public. They mentioned like I spend my money buying the NFT11
Yeah.
players,
And then you have to
now
spend again for tournaments. Yeah.
exactly, so it doesn't seem fair, and I hear that. So we were having a discussion between that particular, I think it was on Twitter. The guy got pants, crypto pants. I'm not wrong. He was the one that really mentioned it to us. In fact, Don Wu, I believe you know who is Don Wu, right? I mean,
Yes.
he did a white paper,
He just did
analysis.
the white
Yeah,
paper
he
analysis.
kind of mentioned that as well, I believe. Yeah, so what we are exploring now is the free-to-play tournaments, right? So there will be tournaments that you do not require to pay a fee to enter.
Okay.
I would say they're friendly matches, right? You have friendly matches that you can organize.
Yeah.
So you go to a stadium, you can possibly go to a stadium owner and then tell the stadium owner, okay, I want to match. I want to put myself up for some friendly matches. They just match me up with someone with a possible MMR.
Yeah.
And then this will not cost any transactions. You don't have to pay for this. It's a free to play, but there will not be any payout either.
Oh, so it's like just training or just trying to experience the game mode itself.
Yes. So opportunity for your players to participate in more matches, to increase their stats and to increase your club
ranking
overall
or
ranking.
MMR
Yes,
too.
exactly.
So at least even if you don't get prizes, you still get experience for your players.
Yeah. And one interesting thing that the community suggested also was that how about we create? They mentioned how about creating a free-to-play tournament. So this tournament itself does not need to pay any entrance fee inside, but the runner-up and the winner of this tournament will have a free entry into a paid tournament.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So now you still have the chance to play to earn. But it really depends whether you win the tournament or not.
Yeah. Well, you have to be good to earn, basically.
Exactly.
Maybe I can jump in here, Solthos and Chance. Allow me maybe a few.
Sure.
I think a lot of what Chance says are the results of how the vision of how we think NFT11 would eventually become. When we started on, as I was saying, a lot of what Chance said about the tournaments and how the gameplay is going to be is actually driven a lot by the vision of what we thought NFT11 would be like. NFT11 essentially is a game about football. We want to bring the management aspects of a real football club, of how a manager would manage his team, right down to player management, training skill sets, and all the way up to owning, like a club manager, club owner. And put that all out into a very new environment, which is in the oldie fogey language like myself is the blockchain, right?
Yeah.
So you put it out there, and you put a game where we want to also make sure that the game allows the community to be very engaged and grow a very robust community from there. There's no point. The things about paying for this or paying for that were just mechanics of us balancing our vision with the eventual economics of the game. Now, a lot of games, or I would say a lot of communities are struggling with that. How much do we charge? Even I even ventured to download Axie Infinity, so they halve their AXS for breeding. They half the XLP earn. There's never a good there.
Yeah, they adjust their costs a lot to try to control the economy.
Yeah. That's right. So ultimately, NFT11 will be better. Because we came later, we learned from their mistakes and we want to be better. So ultimately, what Chance has said was it's an ongoing process. And now that the community has grown sizably, we want to I want to say that we want to continue to welcome feedback from the community, and they will help us guide us and our vision of how we can eventually develop the game. We're not going to get it right the first time, but I think we're on the right track. So please send like this guy Pence or something on Twitter. He sent that feedback. Please, more feedback coming aboard.
Shout out to those giving their feedback, which is a really good thing because just in the beginning, it's good that you already listen to the community's feedback, because ultimately it's the community who wants a really good game to come out from this. So if you're listening to feedback really early, then I mean it could turn out to be a really good game later on, because it's what everybody wants the game to be. And like I think a lot of the concerns of the community is like they're very scared of like rug pulls or cash grabs. So these are some of the questions that the community really wants answered, because maybe they're paying for example like $100 for a NFT11 squad or a team, and then suddenly you need to pay more and more money to just keep playing the game. So that's something I think the community is really afraid of. So I'm glad that you guys were sort of able to address that now while it's still early. And I think we like a lot of the community also wants to know, like I saw it on chat right now. They like the characters, especially like these are all NFTs, right? So do you think there'll be any licensing deals in the future where you work with either actual football teams or maybe animes or certain characters? Do you think that will be in NFT11 in the future?
Yeah, I would say so. Like let me give a minute.
Well, you don't have to reveal details now, but like maybe you can, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, give us a little. If you guys are talking to somebody, it doesn't have to be the name, but
I like how you said animes. That hasn't crossed our mind yet. But that is a new angle. Maybe a chance we can look into that. Animes are pretty.
Hey, you never know.
For sure. For sure,
Yeah.
we are in our timeline. One of the key fundamental development milestones would be to have partnerships across. After all, FIFA and Championship Manager was successful because of their licensing models.
Yes.
So definitely, the licensing model is something. It's expensive. For fair reasons, it's expensive. But that is something down the road which we will do. I can't review much details aside from the fact that we have good networks with the larger clubs in the more in EPL, EFL, EPL, actually both. UEFA, some UEFA clubs as well. Yeah. So and I think I mean for the more into the industry, that in Asia the ownership of some of the bigger clubs are held in Asia. So I think we at an owner level, there's ongoing
there. Ooh, that's very interesting. If you can connect with any of these Asian owners, that could be really good for the future of the game. Especially, a lot of people are interested in these NFTs, having like a good brand on top of it, or a good like licensing deal on top of it. I think that will help the game explode or grow a lot.
Yeah. Just to add on this point, I mean, we see So Rare, we see like a Real Fever, they're popular because of essentially that, because of their licensing issues. I mean, licensings that they have, that was really what that drove their market, But for NFT11, we kind of took a different approach. We wanted to focus our resources on building the game itself before going out for the license.
Yeah.
The license will be secondary.
Yeah.
And how I would see we will incorporate this licensed player inside would be, in Axis universe, we have Origin Axis, right?
Yeah.
That will be our NFT11 Legends.
Okay.
All right. And then what do we have next? We have Mythics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I see NFT11 will incorporate licensed player. They will be Mythic level Axis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's how I see it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I read in somewhere in the white paper about the Shootout Alpha. So will this be playable for everybody, or only the few people who subscribed to the IFO, or how will the mechanics of that be? Do you already have an idea on how that will go?
Right. Okay.
And sorry, what is the Shootout Alpha as well?
Right. Okay. So for in the initial development of NFT11 and in the initial development of NFT11 and the partnership between AI Sports and IFO Swap and all this, right? There was already a game that was developed by the team behind Garrett's team, right? Our CTO team. There was a game developed which was Crazy Soccer. It had some resemblance towards a blockchain game, and that was what we wanted to build up on. So it was kind of the stepping stone that we used. to generate the ideas out from. And that's why we wanted to include this penalty shootout as a mini game for the community to be able to participate during the early access of the game. However, after much deliberation with the team, it comes to our attention that it deviates from the main gameplay of NFT 11 too much, and also some community feedback was that it was too much of a gambling mechanics towards it. Right. So I would like to say that the shootout alpha, as of after this AMA, we will remove it from the white paper. Right. We don't want to. The roadmap that we want to focus on is to create the actual game for our community. The alpha launch of actual game. We don't want to be stretching our resources to developing mini games and mini games.
Yeah,
I mean,
I understand.
That's not what we want, right? So so in terms of the shootout alpha, I can tell you guys after this AMA, we will remove it out from the white paper. And we will work towards building up the alpha gameplay for the team. So it will be the in-between, in a lack of better word, I would say it's an in-between game from now towards the actual game on mobile or Android, etc.
Oh, speaking of mobile or Android, do you think when you guys release the game, it will be same time as Android and PC?
I would say it's in phases. For example, if it's, let's say, we want to give a gameplay to our community as fast as possible, at the fastest time possible, I would say we will have to skip past the mobile gameplay first. It might become like a browser based first at the alpha stage. So that we can get people to actually engage with each other club first before. And then when the actual gameplay that we are expecting around next year, then we will look at then we will start to develop on the Android and iOS, mobile games.
So it'll definitely be PC first before it moves on to mobile later.
I wouldn't say definitely. I would say that is that's what we have planned in terms of development timeline, because now we are working together to build up the team, so we need to see where we are getting our resources from. It takes time to hire. It depends. I think developer will take a little bit longer to source. And then, marketing will be easier, will be a faster team to grow in terms of time. So, all these moving parts play into the development of NFT 11 game, which comes to one concern that I feel that the community have been asking also is, on our white paper and on our website, we say there is a roadmap, right? It's in phases. And people have been asking for dates.
Yeah, true. A lot of people are asking for dates or estimates at least.
Yes. So, I actually, I'm a big fan of Axie Infinity. I'm a big fan of Jiho. Actually, I watched his interview. There was one interview that he did with Ivan on Tech, Jiho, with Ivan on Tech, Good Morning Crypto. So he mentioned something that struck me while I was in the development phase or conceptualizing phase of NFT 11 also. He mentioned as Axie Infinity team, they do not want to put out hard dates in their development plans. That is really a way to mitigate or at least to control the expectations that the community has for us.
Prevents disappointment.
Exactly. And in this whole crypto community, I believe it's always about the good vibes that really bring projects to the moon, right? And then with this kind of hard deadline that we put in, right? If it's toxic for both the developer and the community. Everybody will be so rushing on that specific deadline. And then we have the die come up with our deadline at the date. And then there's this whole very negative energy behind it. Having said that, I'm not saying that we don't want to be accountable for our roadmap and milestones. As you guys can see, I've been really the team behind NFT 11 have always been trying to communicate with the public in terms of what we have been doing, what we have been listening, etc. In fact, we wanted to have an update of a gameplay this week. But because of this, I'm not pushing any blame or anything, but it's because we had to set aside time for these AMAs, to address the concern of the community. So the updates that we are expecting to be this week will be pushed towards next week.
So so people shouldn't blame me, right? They shouldn't blame me for this AMA, so that it's delayed.
No, I wouldn't say it's a blame game, essentially, because AMA is very important to me. It's very important to the community. As I mentioned in the previous AMA that I had with Jeremy, that I myself, I'm pretty sure all of us here have been robbed or somehow being scammed by a certain project. And I really wish that at the point of time I knew what an AMA was. I could see we could see who the people are behind the team, and whether do we share the same kind of ideals and ideologies and
Yeah.
whatnot.
And
Yeah,
now,
so
and now people know your face, so they can chase you. They can find you.
oh,
But yeah, so let's go back a little bit to the IFO, right? So I think a lot of people are confused about how the IFO works, because right now we are at 95% of the IFO. So what
Yeah.
happens to people if the IFO goes over, or what happens if the IFO goes under? Can somebody clarify that for the people who want to join the IFO?
all right. In actual, I mean, if we got Garrett, I mean, I would hope that Garrett will be the one that explains this, but I think it would be a better idea because I'm the one that's communicating with the public most. So I will have to make sure that we're on the same page. And then whatever I say, Garrett, please do correct me if I'm wrong. Right? So yeah, because I know you are the CTO, right? I mean, I'm afraid that there'll be some technical jargons that have been thrown out that people like me, we don't really understand, So I'll try to explain it as layman terms as possible.
That's a better way of explaining than an IT guy like me.
Yeah, in more like layman's terms, because a lot of people that are new in the crypto space might not be able to understand. Like even me, when I had to when I was contributing to the IFO, I had difficulty because I couldn't understand a lot of the terms.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so Chan, could you explain for the people watching?
All right. Okay, so let me get the fundamentals right first for the IFO, all right?
Okay.
So for the IFO, when you guys see the percentage of LP tokens that you guys get, right? It is not the percentage of the NFT 11 tokens that you get. It is not. The percentage of the LP tokens that you see on the IFO page is the percentage of the LP tokens that NFT 11 is looking to raise.
Okay.
Right? And because of how the market works, right? I mean, because we are requesting for H2O and BNB, right? And these two are crypto assets. They're not stable coins, right? I mean, they will fluctuate based on the market.
Yeah.
So when we are looking at the IFO, right? I mean, yes, the USD value that we put out there is a point of reference, which means at 9th of August, when the first day of our IFO came out, the amount of LPs that we are looking to raise at that moment was 1.175 million USD. But at the end of the IFO, 30 days later, it really depends on the market movement, and the LP tokens will change in value.
I see.
Right. So whatever percentage that you guys see is using USD to calculate the IFO will be very, very misleading for everybody.
Okay.
Right. So calculate based on the LP tokens. Right.
Okay.
So how the IFO works, right? If let's say now we're talking about 100%, right?
Yeah,
Let's say,
what if we go over 100%?
Let me talk about just 100%.
Okay,
Let's say
100%.
Very, very nicely, just nice, 100%, right?
Okay.
In the smart contract, right, it says that, okay, based on, if it hits 100%, based on the number of LP tokens that we are asking to raise, we will distribute the NFT 11 tokens based on the LP token, not the USD value, all right? And then it will follow whatever that we have said in the white paper, all right?
Okay.
In the event that it starts to overflow, right, it means that there is a higher demand for NFT 11 tokens.
Yes.
Right? And with that logic, because of IFO, which is a limited cap supply, the value of NFT 11 tokens starts to go up because of the demand that is there.
Okay.
Right? This is basic economics, right?
Yes. So higher demand, higher price.
Yeah, right. So at the current moment, once it hits above 100%, right, our NFT 11 tokens starts to become more valuable, more expensive. I would say more valuable. Okay, so instead of one NFT 11 token being 70 cents, it will starts to go up to 80 cents, 90 cents, the value of an NFT 11 token, right? And then the LP tokens that you have will be distributed based on the new amount.
I see. Okay.
Right. So, based on this, right, let's say, for example, in terms of easy mathematical calculation.
Yeah, let's just use 1 and 100s.
Okay, so let's say 100% we are supposed to get 0.7 per NFT 11 token, right?
Yes.
Let's say now if it overflows at 200%, that is 2 times the amount, am I right?
Yes.
Right. So at the moment, initially, at 100%, you're supposed to get one NFT 11 token at 70 cents. But if it hits 200%, now one NFT 11 tokens could possibly be about $1.40, 2 times smaller, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. So at this moment, the issue comes in when your allocation of NFT 11 tokens will become lesser, because now we need to distribute the NFT 11 tokens to more wallets.
I see.
Right. So everybody now will get a lesser allocation of NFT 11 tokens. So maybe initially, if it was 100%, you have gotten like 100 NFT 11 tokens, but then now if it overflow to 200%, you will get 50 NFT 11 tokens.
So it's like it was halved because it was
Yes,
double,
it was
something
halved.
like that.
Right.
Okay.
So this is the main concern that I feel like everybody is worried about. They are worried. Okay, the main worry is that they do not have enough NFT 11 tokens to purchase the teams or purchase the players that they want.
Yes.
Right. So okay, let me address one thing first. For your NFT 11 tokens, although your allocation is lesser, the value of one NFT 11 tokens now is more expensive. There's higher value.
Okay.
Right. So instead of it being 70 cents, now it's worth one NFT 11 token could worth $1 or $2. Right. And when we publicly list NFT 11 tokens, it will have to follow the end of the IFO price. So meaning it will no longer be publicly listed at $1. So let's say if the end of IFO, the private sale NFT 11 token is worth $1, when we publicly listed, it will be maybe $1.50 or $1.75. Right. So that is that's the first thing that I want to clarify with everybody. Right. Okay. That even though you get lesser NFT 11 tokens allocation, the value of NFT 11 tokens go up. All right. That is the first thing that I would like to address. All right. The second thing that I would like to address would be, I know there are a lot of early adopters that came to us and said like, they invested in NFT 11 in the early days of the IFO. And then, when it starts to become like closer and closer to the dates, that we saw a whale came in and then, bought a lot of coins. And then now people are worried that, just because a whale comes in at a late and then, they are now allocated lesser tokens. Right. But let me just clarify how this whole IFO process works, all right? So let's say at the first day of our IFO, of NFT 11 IFO. Okay, so our IFO has been running for 30 days, right? So now we left about 2 more or 3 more days, right? So on the first day of the IFO, H2O tokens was priced at 20 cents, right? To buy one LP token to participate in the IFO, you possibly use like maybe 100 USD to buy one LP token when H2O was at 0.2. Right. And then now we look at H2O price today. Today, the price of H2O is about 60 cents, right? So essentially it's 3 times the price.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially the same amount of LP token that the investors come in at the later stage, they are paying 3 times the amount that you paid to get that single one LP token.
Okay.
Right. So this economy already balances it out. And as more and more investors come in to in a later stage to add into the overflow, the money that they put in, right, it adds the value of your NFT 11 tokens per value. Although your allocation is lesser, but per value of NFT 11 tokens start going up.
Okay, so so that's actually very interesting. So for example, like for a layman, this would be their question if they still didn't get this. So for example, I put in enough, like I put in equivalent of BNB tokens and H2O tokens. Let's say I put in $100 worth USD. So and you mentioned before that a team of 11 NFT 11 players would be $99, right?
Yes.
So now if the IFO is oversubscribed and the value of NFT tokens go up and the number of NFT 11 tokens I get is lower, can I still buy those team of 11 players?
Very, very good question. So this is the update that I would like to announce to the public or to whoever who wants to or are waiting for Legends player. There's going to be a slight change in terms of how we price the Legends player. So instead of now pricing it at 9.99 NFT 11 tokens, we will be adjusting it to selling the players at 6.99 USD.
Oh, okay.
So no longer using NFT 11 tokens. So although you have lesser allocation of NFT 11 tokens, you still can use because of the value of per NFT 11 went up, you still have enough to buy the team that you wanted initially.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yes. So this is the mechanic that we are applying to make sure that everybody gets a fair share
That's
of
good.
NFT
Yeah.
license players. Yeah.
So at least
That's the new
people
one.
are like more calm or more like assured that whatever they put in will be able to buy what we wanted to buy in the beginning.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's great.
And at the end of but this will not be perpetual. This is a special price that we are doing for all our early adopters. And once we are certain that most of our early adopters has their fair share of Legends player, then we will readjust the price of NFT11 players back to 9.99 NFT11. So once we release to the public, right, they will use NFT11 tokens to buy the players now, which drives the price of NFT11 token up again.
Okay, that's great. So basically what you're saying is people who said, okay, I'm going to put in $100 to invest in 11 players, at the end of the IFO, I can still buy those 11 players even though I get lesser NFT tokens after everything, after the IFO finishes.
Yeah.
So
basically, yeah.
Yeah, so for layman, for people who don't really understand the IFO, rest assured that you can buy your team of 11 NFT players if that's what you put in the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, just one thing to manage the expectations of our player sales. I know everybody's been waiting for the player sales, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And okay, the thing is, we are building NFT11 with a very strong foundation. The dreams that we have for NFT11 is really big. We really want to be able to see what I envision for NFT11 is to be able to see your players actually playing on the field. Right. Okay. So with that kind of vision, right, we have to make sure that our foundation is done right. So our characters now, our players that we are doing now, they are all 3D. They are all 3D characters. Nice. They're all 3D. And 3D. For the gamers out there, I hope you guys understand that rendering 3D characters is not an easy task.
Yeah.
It's not like bought 8 Yacht Club. It's not Pudgy Penguins, it's not JPEG. This is
you actually need animations and all that stuff. Yeah.
This is a fully rigged 3D model that can kick the ball, can move and everything, and each of them, we are trying to make it as unique as possible. Mm-hmm. So having said that, the development per player takes a bit of time. So when I say I want to manage the community expectations in terms of the player, is that, it's not going to be once our IFO ends, and then we are going to release all 14,000 for you guys to buy. That's not going to happen.
It will be in phases or something.
It will be in phases. One thing is you've got to make sure that our server stays alive. I'm sure that if you do it in one day, people are going to pay like huge amount of gas and not be able to get their players. So we are doing it in little phases, right?
And actually, I think a lot of people are also concerned that there might be like bots who will just snap up everything. Do you guys have any controls for that, or are you guys working with anybody to make sure that doesn't happen?
I believe our CTO, or at least our guys who are working on the dashboard right now, they are working on the security of it. But we are implementing some at the start of our player sales, right? We will not so much be opening up for public. Okay. Right. As I said, I want to make sure that our early adopters, I will come with a mechanic where our early adopters will be able to have priority in getting their players before we allow the public to start coming in.
So people who basically invested in the IFO, they have priority and they can buy the players first before, giving the public a chance to buy all of these NFTs.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's great for a lot of the people who are investing as early as now. And I think they still have time, right? They still have 2 or 3 days for the IFO. Yeah. Okay, so I think we can just take a couple of questions from chat maybe, and then we can wrap up the AMA. So let's see. Let's check chat. Okay, so Babel's just asking, will the player purchase process be explained after the end of the IFO?
The player purchase process was actually the update that we wanted to push out to this week. Okay. But yeah, so next week we will be getting our influencers and our YouTubers and our content creators. We will be giving them exclusive content into the process of getting a Legends player.
Okay, that sounds great. Let's see. Does anybody from chat have any more questions? Let's see.
In regards to gameplay, right?
Yeah.
I would suggest you guys to the people in the chat or whoever, to go and check out the AMA that I did with Jeremy. the previous one, and the next one is coming out in either tomorrow or the day after. These two AMAs cover more about the gameplay and how we envision NFT 11 to be like.
Oh, this is a great question, actually. Ensky is asking, how can we earn in-game tokens besides betting? So how does exactly the play-to-earn mechanics work? Like, do you need to spend money to make money, or is there, like, after you have your NFT 11 team, can you continuously make money with that team?
Right. In this respect, I believe we have mentioned this earlier.
The tournament.
The tournaments, yeah. So okay, there are some people that did mention, like, it seems difficult to earn in this game.
Yeah,
it's not like Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity you can play every day. You will be able to play and earn SLPs, right, on a daily basis.
Yes.
Like, and now you are guaranteed 75. It used to be 150, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some people are wondering, like, will NFT 11 have this kind of mechanic where you earn these coins easily?
Yes.
In my opinion, I feel like I would want to separate that aspect away from Axie Infinity, because we've seen Axie Infinity SLP price is been dipping quite a bit since the latest update of SLP price being halved, and then it affects the gameplay quite a bit, and it's really because every day there are a lot of people minting SLPs, right?
Yeah.
And it's because it's easy to earn, it's guaranteed earning.
Okay.
Right. So in NFT 11 tokens, we want to keep our currency a bit more valuable in a sense that it's not so easy. Not every day you can earn these NFT 11 tokens. Only when you actually put effort in playing like matches or going to tournaments, or like, you can trade your players. If you the way I see it in this whole NFT 11 universe, there will be different kinds of players. There will be players that focus on scouting players, on like scouting and renting them out, or trading new players. Then there will be players that actually just want to be manager and manage their own club. So that's how I see the economy growing, just like Axie Infinity,
Okay. So basically it's not the same as Axie, where every match you play you earn SLP. No. There will have to be like some sort of, like, as you mentioned earlier in the tournaments, if you win these tournaments or free-to-play tournaments, you get tickets to the paid tournaments. Then when you win the paid tournaments, you get a prize. So it really rewards skill over just continuously, mindlessly playing the game.
Okay, there might, I just thought of, I think there might be a possibility that in pay to enter tournaments, you will be able to get tokens if you win each match. Okay, so
every match win plus the top places, or how many top people will get NFT 11s. Okay, sounds interesting. And there's also like a question maybe about the economy of the game, because you've mentioned before that you're releasing these NFT 11 legend players, and also there's been mention of booster packs, where you can get players and the special cards. So will booster packs be an ongoing like available to buy item, or will it be just a limited release, and then it will be through the players that they will keep making or releasing these kinds of cards or skills or players?
Right. Okay. In terms of the move cards, right? I mean, that is something that we have planned. Move cards is going to be a very tertiary function that we are adding into the game, right? I mean, because it's items, right?
Yes.
It's a very tertiary thing. However, for the booster pack, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that. For booster pack, the plan is to use our stadium sales as a way to test out our booster pack mechanics. All right. So for Axie Infinity, when I believe back in 2018, when they released their land, they didn't release land individually.
Correct.
They released it in chests.
Yes, bundles. Basically.
In bundles, right? So that is how I believe our stadium sale will kind of be like. It's going to be like a chest sale, a bundle sale, and then you will get random locations of the stadium.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That will be that for the booster pack. For move cards, and so once we have that mechanics tied down, and the chinks worked out, then we can move on to looking at the move cards and booster packs.
Okay, because I think some players' concerns about the developers or the company selling directly after like the economy has been established. Like as you see in Axie right now, like the developers aren't selling any more Axies; they're just profiting off the transactions basically. But I think a lot of players are also scared that maybe what if the developers just keep releasing new players, new booster packs, and people will just have to keep buying from the developers instead of like a player economy being ran by the players.
Right. Okay. In terms of player economy, for how we are envisioning this, right, is that the early adopters, you guys, right, when you come in and participate in the IFO, we are releasing the NFT 11 Legends player.
Yes.
This is a hard cap. There's only for 7,500 Legends player that is circulating in total supply.
Yes.
And it's the hard cap, right? So after this, right, this is the only players that we will sell. That is the only players that the developers will sell.
Okay.
And then the legend. So you guys, what we want to encourage, right, is for you guys who have all the legend players to start minting out new players to put it on the marketplace.
Okay.
And then that's where we decentralize the whole marketplace and economy to the community.
That's great. That's great. Actually, yeah, I think that will answer a lot of people's concerns about the economy. Okay, let's. Yeah. I think we can take one more question from the chat. 2CS says, how fast are players going to age in the game, or how will that aging thing work in the game?
Right. I think there is two ways we can look about this. You know, it depends on how long we want to stretch the longevity of each player, right? And at the current moment, there's two ways I feel like we can go about doing this. Is one would be after every match. Okay, then it will be calculated. Either that or you'll be after every season.
After every season. But do you think it'll be a concern if a certain player ages too much, it'll be a, so to speak, useless player in the future?
I wouldn't say so. How I will see like retired players, their value for retired players comes in the players that they train now. You know, they become good coaches.
I see. You'll be using it for training.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think okay, so can we take one last question from the community?
Sure. One last question before you call it.
Okay. Let's go with the Enski's question, which is like, for the IFO, after this first initial IFO, will there be more parts of IFO, and how will that progress, or how will that go along?
Okay, for the IFOs, I would say, like, you know, this game entirety of NFT 11, I believe Mr. Ling would also agree that, you know, this game, you guys will also agree that whatever amount that we have raised in our first IFO, right, is definitely not enough.
Yeah,
to build an entire game,
big right? Game. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You know, imagine, like, I mean, if you really want to be frank, right? I mean, this IFO, if you were to raise like 3 million or 4 million, you know, that would be just enough for us to develop this game. You know, so we are taking this in phases. You know, there will be different phases where we will require more funds. You know, like, let's say, for example, you know, in the event that we want to look at licensing player, you know, we can use a fundraising method to raise funds for getting that particular license, their player license. You know, that's how we kind of look at the IFO.
I see. And Mr. Ling is back.
Ling, yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Ling, we were wrapping up the AMA. I just wanted to say thank you for taking time, especially during your birthday. So I want to wish you a happy birthday as well. Thank you, Chance. Thank you, Garrett. And do you guys have any last words before we sign off?
I mean, I would just like to thank everybody for so far for the immense support. You know, we'll grow together.
Yeah, hopefully we.
Well, my line got dropped. Okay. Maybe I just before the connection gets bad.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for the support, and we look forward to growing this wonderful project together.
Okay. Any last words from Garrett as well?
Great. I'm stuck.
No, I think.
Thanks, Otto, and thanks.
Anyway, thank you guys.
So hopefully we're able to work together. We share community feedbacks and we grow together as one.
Okay. Well, I guess internet is going out, but thank you very much, guys. Thank you for joining the AMA.
All right.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Goodbye, and thank you.
Bye, guys.